So what a weekend for the Crimson Tide as they get three big-time commitments, one of which we've already talked about, but because of that, y'all already know what that means. Today, we need to dive into the other two commitments and talk about why they're such big wins. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe Alabama is going to continue the run they're already going on in July? I can't wait to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content and you don't want to miss any of it. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem small. They truly are massive for content creators such as myself and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm, and we are so close to our 20,000 subscriber goal. If you're not currently subscribed, please do so. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And there are several different ways we could slice this, but we're going to start with the addition in the 2024 class for a three-star linebacker out of Germany that personally, I think Alabama fans need to be very excited about. And of course, we're talking about Justin Okoronkwo. And whenever we're talking about Okoronkwo, one of the things we need to acknowledge is that even though he may be a three-star, it's not because of a lack of ceiling. It's not because of a lack of athletic ability. It's just because he hasn't played the game for very long and he's in Germany. He is a green player. And what I mean when I say green is very talented, very gifted, just inexperienced. And he's learning every time he goes out on the football field. But he stands 6'3", 200 pounds, and when you do turn on the film, you see an instinctive linebacker that's still figuring out the game, but athletic ability is flying off the screen. He has tabbed multiple 4.5 40s, and it's evident when you watch the film. He is playing at a different speed than everybody else on the field. And another thing I find extremely compelling about Justin Okoronkwo is the organization he's a part of. Because if you've been around this channel for any extended period of time, there's a good chance you've heard me talk about PPI recruits. PPI recruits is something that when I found out about them, I was fascinated and I had to look into them. And everybody they get is a dude. Brandon Collier is the individual who runs PPI Recruits, and what's so fascinating about it is Brandon Collier travels the world and finds guys from all over the world that can play college football, and he gets them college offers. And the guys he's sending, they are notable. Not long ago, we talked about Hero Canoe, an individual who Alabama was after, someone who whenever he got to the United States only played 3 high school games before he had over 30 Division I offers. Brandon Collier is finding dudes, and this is another one of them. I can't wait to see what the future holds for Okoronkwo because I just think that he is an extremely gifted prospect. He's working with individuals that absolutely know what they're doing because if you look at Brandon Collier's history, he's sending a lot of guys to college football. So he's finding guys, he knows what to look for, and he's hitting at a really high rate right now, which I love. I think this is a phenomenal addition. Look, the other day I said I could start a hidden gem segment. Justin Okoronkwo would absolutely fit the mold for a hidden gem, a 3-star prospect that really, when it's all said and done, once he figures the game out, he is going to be a guy we talk about in years to come as a great addition by Alabama. But it was not the only other addition they got outside of Zykie Brown, the individual that we did talk about yesterday, as I had that video pre-recorded. They also got a big win in the class of 2026. A ways out, I grant you that. But nonetheless, a win is a win. A commitment is a commitment, and we know the nature of college football recruiting. You're just happy when a guy commits, but you understand the optics of the situation. But we do need to talk about Zykie Helton, an offensive lineman in the class of 2026, because I think it paves the way for a larger conversation. Zykie Helton is a fantastic addition, 6'3", 305 pounds. Alabama gets a big win over Georgia, and he plays interior offensive line. Very athletic individual. But I think the larger conversation here that needs to be had is that Coach Eric Walford continues his winning streak, and personally, I don't think that winning streak is done, something I think we're going to be talking about in the very near future. Coach Walford has been a fantastic addition. Not long ago, I made a video talking about how everybody's talking about the quarterback position for Alabama, and deservedly so. There's a lot of intrigue there, and there's a lot of importance at that position. No argument here. But in my opinion, figuring out that offensive line is going to be incredibly important, and they have a lot of talent there. If the offensive line comes together, it's going to help the running game. If the running game comes together and the offensive line comes together, it's going to help whichever new quarterback they have. So in my opinion, just due to a trickle-down effect, the offensive line is the most important unit for the Crimson Tide in 2024, and luckily, Coach Wolford has got a phenomenal history, not only in his short stint with Alabama, wherever he took over an offensive line that was really in shambles and had just lost a guy to the first round of the NFL draft, a top 10 pick at that. Coach Wolford took that offensive line, molded it, and by the end of the year last year, there was no question that that offensive line, an offensive line without a top 10 draft pick that they'd lost the year before, was playing at a higher level, and that's due to coaching. So I'm extremely excited to see what more time in the system and with these guys affords Coach Eric Wolford. But one thing is for sure, he has hit the ground running on the recruiting trail, and he has gotten several big-time wins. And the reason why that's important, at this point, you can do nothing but trust his judgment and trust his assessment. And if he likes Zykie Helton, which if you turn on the tape, plenty of reasons to like him, that's why this is a big win. And before we get out of here, we have got to answer the question, what does this mean for Alabama's recruiting class? Because though I don't think they're done, where do they sit right now? Well, Alabama currently ranks within the top 15 recruiting classes in the nation, coming in at number 14. And why that's notable, they have the lowest amount of commits in the top 15 and the third highest average commit rating in the top 15, which paints the picture Alabama's recruiting yet another elite recruiting class, which, to the surprise of nobody in college football, I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about these additions. That's it. See ya.